My job is to wade through the maybes and the no's for you by asking better questions.
This podcast is for informational purposes only. We are not medical professionals and do not provide medical advice. Consult a healthcare provider for any health concerns. Opinions expressed are not a substitute for professional medical guidance.
Welcome to the Optimize We podcast. I'm your host, Lindsay O'Neill, and I'm super excited to kick off this series of interviews and biohacking truths without the BS with you. Hello, and welcome to the Optimize We podcast, where we share biohacking and longevity truths with no BS. My dear friend Brian Bradley is with us today, and he is a posture expert. He helps so many people, thousands of people, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people get out of pain all of the time by making small adjustments and movements to your body. So without further ado, welcome, Brian. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I don't know who got me up this early. I mean, 9 a.m. on the West Coast is, whew. I mean, that's rough. No, I'm just kidding you, but it's a good time to have some of the danger coffee and stuff like that. So let's wakey. Let's go.
You're the ultimate biohacker, and you've been doing a lot of work with Mr. Tony Robbins for many, many years now. What is your go-to biohack in the morning when you're forced to get up at 9 a.m. to talk to people like me?
God, I suffer. It's unbelievable. First is molecular hydrogen water. Everybody's into the hydrogen water, the hydrogen bottles from Echo or something like that. And you were at the biohacking event, and I was walking around with a couple guys from Jump Sport, which, there's the trampoline company, all that stuff. They have a hydrolyzed molecular hydrogen product, which, I do in the morning, and I drink that within 15 seconds. A lot of people do things because they go, I feel it. Oh my God, it's this. And I'm like, yeah, cocaine had the same effect back in the 70s and 80s. And apparently it made its way back because my son tells me it's everywhere in Southern California.
Really? It is?
Yeah, it's crazy. I just asked him how it smells, and he couldn't answer me. So I know he's clean. That's good. And so, when he's still naive to what it does, I'm like, okay, good. We raised a good kid. But ideally, if you think about something that hits you that much on a stimulant thing, that's a problem. Mm. So I don't try to do things that go, oh my gosh, it does this. I look at the placebo effect on things. So for example, over my shoulder, here's the biocharger. I did 3 sessions on the biocharger here last night. If somebody said to me, my gosh, what did it do? And I'm like, well, it excited my mitochondria, got my blood flowing, did this. I could feel the tingling of it. Yeah, but what did it do? And I'm like, well, it gave me huge doses of PEMF and red light and all this stuff. Yeah, well, what's your benefit? I'm like, I just gave them all to you. But because I can't come out of it and go, they hooked electrodes up to me and it shocked me for 10 minutes, they have to feel it versus trust it. So my go-to in the morning is this coffee. Number 1, it's the high fat, what they call keto coffee, butter, blah, 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 MCT oil with, the brain octane, all that stuff. And I did Dave Asprey's podcast years ago because I was blown away at not what it did initially, what it did to me long-term, which is I tell people I finally learned to read at the age of 49. So I'm 59 now or something like that. And I look at it and say, I finally learned how to read. Well, what I meant by that, I went through university and all that. I memorized, I did this, I took a test and I forgot everything. That I literally now use my ADHD as a superpower because I have some fuel behind it via the biohacking world.
Is delicious too. That danger coffee,
unbelievable,
old free, and I love that you're doing the hydrogen water first because that really opens up your cells, right? Isn't that what hydrogen is supposed to do? It's supposed to get all of your cells ready for whatever your brain next. It's like a preparation tool.
Yeah, and it's for me, and it has some electrolytes in it, so I'll get some electrolytes done in the morning, and not like here's 2,000 milligrams of this or 2,000, and I'm like, do I need that much, or is it a minimal dose thing so your body's just not excreting waste? The coffee to me was a literal game changer, and I haven't missed a day since then. And, people know me that I travel to all these big events in 190 different countries and all these different things and sleep in 100 and however many beds a year. Not because I'm promiscuous. It's because there's different hotels. So when you go to Japan, the bed is different. When you go to Utah, the bed is different. When you go to Malaysia, the body is different, or the bed is different, but the body's the same.
Mm.
So really what I focus on in the biohacking world is that picture right there. So I tell people around that, put a big circle around that and have little arrows pointing out to it and say, whatever biohack that you're in, you're doing Wim Hof breathing, you're doing box breathing, you're doing coffee, you're doing the cold plunge, you're doing an infrared. I have a guy coming over today to do a repair on my Morozco, and I miss it, right? Because I couldn't cold plunge this morning. Something's going on with it.
Right.
Well, if your body is out of alignment and you're in this position of fight flight all the time, where there's wrinkles in the front of your shirt and your body's rotated chronically, one shoulder down, one shoulder up, or whatever. I'll give you an example of that. I happen to have this picture pulled up right here. That's a week apart. That's a before and after a week.
Wow. So
Now,
you're showing us a picture of somebody who looks like an older person who's kind of hunched over and not in great alignment. And then, 7 days, you've got them in full alignment. Now, when you're traveling a lot, though, and you're sleeping in different beds, you can't bring your cold plunge with you. You could bring your coffee with you. You could bring your hydrogen water bottle with you. But how do you make sure that that body stays the same when you're traveling or when you're out of your normal home, your biohacking house?
change the body that you put in a bed versus change the bed.
Right.
Change the body that you take to CrossFit, and CrossFit will never hurt you, like ever. It has never hurt anybody. It's the body you took to it after 8 hours in the office and then going, I'm going to lift heavy weights and do this. And no, you're pushing your body to the metabolic limit on a body that's so far out of alignment that CrossFit had no choice but to push the threshold over the tipping point. So you could be on, I have a Carol bike sitting here, which we saw at the event. Carol bike's an amazing bike.
Right.
It's an 8-minute ride, but it's 8 minutes of hell if your body cannot fire your diaphragm.
Right.
Because now you're going, I got to do this HIIT workout. It's 2 20-second sprints in 8 minutes. Okay, great. I'm not going to be bent over the bike for an hour because apparently sitting's the new smoking versus the body you take to sitting. And all of a sudden everything becomes a problem. Getting off the toilet is a problem for people whose body is not congruent with its alignment. And I'm not saying go to the chiro, go to the osteo and have all this hands-on work done. I'm telling you that do a minimal dose of the work that we do with people and it will pay off in spades. Like literally it's like brushing and flossing the teeth you want to keep versus I'll just do it on a Tuesday, Thursday. Now I grew up in central Pennsylvania, so that's an option. And okay, that's a joke. That's a joke. But it's you think about it, you brush and floss your teeth every day because you value the result. Healthy gums, healthy teeth, no dragon breath. Well, let's take that analogy to the body. I don't want dragon breath for my body in the sense that I don't want my body holding on to metabolic fluids that have broken down and byproducts from workout. I want my lymph moving for me. So everything comes down to changing the body.
And most people do make these changes when they want to look good or fix their snaggletooth or, their dragon breath. But for me, actually at 35, I was the oldest. I felt the oldest that I'd ever felt in my life. Now I'm almost 44. So it's almost 9 years later. I was massive autoimmune and I had so many issues. I had scoliosis of the spine and that was the least of my problems. I had dual autoimmune condition. All my hair had fallen out. I had a fever for 10 weeks. It was bananas. And all of this biohacking stuff, it's helped, but it's not just about the stuff that you do externally. Obviously I'm certified in culinary medicine through the Harvard School of Public Health. So I know a lot more than everyday people about what you put into your body as fuel, but it's also about how you align your body, not just physically, but also energetically. And I'd love to learn more about what you do personally. And also, what are some of the programs and protocols that you put people through? Because Tony Robbins subscribes to this. All of the people that go to his conferences get to participate in this. And so why not share it with the 3.5 million people that are hopefully listening to this podcast episode?
Well, get ready because your 3.5 million is going to go to about 4.5 because the information will be so helpful that I'm going to require people listening to share it with their friends, because I'm telling you, the gift you're going to give them by just sharing the movements and things like that are absolute game changers. So get ready. But it's the belief system about your injuries. It's the belief system about whether you're broken. So for example, you went through all of these things at 35 and corrected stuff and made a name for yourself based on the gift of that downtime or injury. Now think about the words I just used. To you, it's easy. That was a gift to you because it created what you're doing now and helping so many people around the world. How can it not be a gift? You almost dying. Or, that's what was happening physically, mentally, emotionally. Why me?
People don't see the pain as a gift. They do. They stay in that victimhood. Yeah, they're angry, they're pissed off, they blame everything and everyone around them. You're absolutely right. I did that.
Why did you do that?
Because it felt easy. It felt like I was living in so much fear. Like, I'm not going to be able to take care of my kids. I'm not going to be able to ever work again. And then as soon as I replaced that fear with faith in God, faith in myself, faith in the universe, and I started to see these micro shifts happening, that amplified my faith. Because without those micro shifts that were happening, with no forward momentum, with just this negative downward spiral, which we keep ourselves in always because we just talk to ourselves badly, like, oh my God, your hair's falling out. Now you look like shit. Oh my God, you're losing your muscle tone. And you just keep yourself in that fear state and that negative downward spiral. And once I just stopped it and started to make some small shifts towards getting better and optimizing my health, and I also changed my mentality, and I started praying every day and thanking God for the pain, thanking God for the new perspectives. My whole life turned around. My whole life changed.
I was on Instagram yesterday because I basically live my life on there, because as you'll see on my Instagram, I answer all my own DMs. I love the conversations. I love the great questions. I love the stupid questions. And when I say stupid, I mean, people are like, hey, Brian, what socks are you wearing today? Because that's what I'm known for on stage and all that stuff. Okay, great. Well, today's going to be great. I'll show you the socks here in a second. But I saw a story about a young man that had this injury, and he had ended up having a brain tumor, and he ballooned up because it created so much overeating and all this stuff. And the varus stress, or the bow-legged stress in his tibia and femur on one of his legs, literally, I mean, the kid was done.
Yeah.
15 years old, 14 years old, whatever. And then the mother said, nope. And then the next scene, you see him standing on a Bosu ball. And then you see him doing this. And then you see him hanging from a chin bar. And he's still big. He's a big boy. Still had the brain tumor scars and whatever's there. But mom made a choice. And it was a guy's reaction video. So the guy's tearing up. And I'm like, okay, I love your tears. No, I mean, this is awesome. I'm like, if I could get my hands on this guy, you know what? I'm DMing his mom. I found who she was, and I DM'd her. She gets back to me in tears. She said, oh my gosh, Brian, you're right. I don't know who you are, so I hope your feelings aren't hurt. Because I said, you better know who I am. I'm not some creeper coming up on you, right? But it was such an amazing story that Mama Bear said, unacceptable. Unacceptable that the medical world doesn't know how to help my son in the biohacking or biology world or personal training world or mechanical world or PT world. Everybody had given up on this kid. To see what she created over time was amazing. And she was guessing. Wow. So I just sent her a message and said, you can always tell me to FO if you don't want me to do this, but I'm totally interested. This is on me. I will take a look at your kid, blah, 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 because the story is so inspiring. She gets back to me. Oh my gosh, thank you. I feel like I'm in this by myself.
Oh. And so everybody does.
Yes.
Everybody feels alone.
And you don't have to be. Like with the power of social media right now, someone like me or you is going to go like this. Of course I'll help. Well, I don't have the money. I don't care. I have a $15 book called Pain Free on Amazon. If you can't afford it, I'll get it for you.
Right.
But you better do the work, because I need you to pay with your time. I need you to pay with your time. I need you to look at what we do and say, wait a second, Brian, I want to be coached in person. Okay, easily done. that's what I'm going to run her today at 12 o'clock my time. I said, just let me take a look. But my main thing today is going to be with the inspiration that I want to try to give to the kid. I want to see how cognitive he is, where his motor control is, and then be like, God brought us together.
Yeah.
Your injury is why I contacted your mom. Look at the gift of this. And I want to hear him validate that versus, well, you don't know what it's like. And I'm like, oh, sweetheart. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
2 ACL reconstructions, fractured transverse process, tore the labrum in this hip, 6-inch blood clot in that calf, separated this shoulder, dislocated this, bulging disc, herniated disc. I've done it all. But then I switched over from downhill mountain biking because trees don't move at 65 miles an hour. So now I play ping pong and pickleball. It's a lot safer. So you go through this shirt that says life has no off season. That's a mental state change, which then you wake up and then you have your coffee, which feeds the fat, which then says, when I look in the mirror, I'm going, man, things aren't where they used to be. At almost 60, you joke around like that, but there are people who literally condemn their body on a daily basis because of how it looks. And then they put Lululemon pants on and they think that's going to shrink their ass. But those Lululemons have to come off and whatever's in there comes back out. And it's very disappointing.
Yeah.
So let me give you an idea on just one psychological thing that we like to do. Think of the word fat. You're the nutritionist person. You're the expert. Tell me, as a female, an expert in the world like that, how would your girlfriends, I'll tell you what guys do, because we do it. We just don't talk about it like you guys do. The word fat, F-A-T. Let's say you write it down on a big piece of paper in front of you, F-A-T. That's the first thing you see in the morning. How's that feel?
That's all shame. And shame is that's the lowest vibration. It is like disgust. It is, it's horrible.
I love you right now.
That is awful.
I love you. Did you guys hear the angst around that word disgust?
Disgust.
The shame, the time that I heard my mother say to my sisters, you're going to wear that? Or when my sister was developing and, my dad would say, and they were great people, listen, I love them. They have their cards right here. But my dad would go, hey, thunder thighs. And I didn't think of it. I'm like, shit, I wish I had thunder thighs. That I've been better in football and rugby. Great. I got the skinny legs. So, but not thinking psychologically what that did to my sisters.
Yeah.
So, okay, now write the word P.H.A.T.
Yeah.
And that's what guys, if you're just listening to this, a small smirk came on the side of her mouth and she was like, yeah, hell yeah, let's go.
Well, I'm also a child of the 90s. So, everything was fat, dope, chill.
Correct. NWA. This is where we cue NWA in this podcast. Yeah. So, no, think about it from P.H.A.T. Those 4 letters are part of what word?
Don't know.
Lymphatic.
Oh.
So if somebody says to me at an event and I go, oh, are you asking me if I think you're fat? And they're like, well, yeah. And I go, of course I do. You are. And I wait.
And they just stare at you.
And no, she's laughing. She's like, oh, and I go, oh, I know that laugh too. That's the one right before I get punched in the face. I said, but hear me out. What if I told you it wasn't your fault? This is a Goodwill Hunting moment. It's not your fault, Will. It's not your fault. Because P.H.A.T. is something you're not educated in. Not you, but them. And I say, what about if that's just part of a lymphatic process? What if that excess fluid that you're holding on to and you're doing workout after power plate workout, after this, and all of a sudden you're doing all these workouts and your byproduct, like an exhaust in your car, is creating more byproducts. You're actually getting fatter by working out. P.H.A.T.T.E.R. How's that feel? And she smiles. And I said, there's no more control from that word. So what I got lucky and ran into 34 years ago was the idea that once the body's in alignment and every time that heel hits the ground and the push off of the toe as you're walking 10,000 steps a day, 1,000 steps a day, you're actually walking yourself thinner when your body is in alignment because now your lymphatic system, which drains upward, is now doing its job.
Right.
And the freedom as a woman, because it's just us girls. Let me tell you how I feel. So if it's just us girls and I say, what does that freedom from the disgust feel like? What does that feel like?
It feels like freedom. It feels like lightness. It feels the opposite of heavy and disgusting. It feels amazing. It feels amazing. It feels
See, there's the word.
And super fat.
And so think about just listening to people better as a therapist out there. I let you go through like 8 words. It feels this, it feels this, it feels this. And you went, it feels amazing. There's the word. Because there was so much energy behind it. Yep. And you put a period at the end of that. And then you talk. It wasn't just a continuation of word vomit. It was you going, it feels amazing. Like imagine somebody adding some drama to that and going, it feels amazing. Like I feel like I have my life back. And listen, I'm so freaking tired, and almost said the F-bomb, but I'm going to say freaking tired of you girls being lied to. Work out more and eat less. Sorry, but that's Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not us. Reality is I like a good tomahawk steak every once in a while, as long as it's grass-fed, grass-finished.
Yep.
I'm not going to eat the other BS and all this vegetarian fat. And listen, I love vegetarians. It's just my job to help convert them back to health. So our job is to think about changing the mindset of people. And this is in the Tony Robbins world, the NLP. I'm drinking from a thing called the Robbins Madonnas organization, which is one of Tony's, with Chloe Madonnas, one of their coaching programs. Well, I speak at that coaching program, and I love the mindset of all those RMT coaches because they're coming out of it going, I hear you. Yes, thank you. What if today was going to be better? What would your life be like? Well, it's not going to be. That's not what I ask you. I ask you one specific question. I need you to hear me. What would your life be like if you change the mindset to, my pain is here to serve me? And you, young lady, fully adopted that. And now you're changing lives everywhere, which is why I fell in love with you guys at the event, because the energy that you have is not matched by the energy that you lost. You're clearly so much higher on a resonating level now, that's very attractive to me because that's where I live, which is optimism and hope and belief, changing hope to belief, because there's a big hole in hope. So I look at, you got to get to a point where you actually believe that every little thing you do has an effect. Just like brushing your teeth. We got up and brushed our teeth this morning because we know it'll have an effect on tomorrow's teeth. That's the belief system that has to change.
And kudos to you for pulling everybody out of the shit. And I'm going to say shit because it's a really important word when you're talking about those types of words, the shame, the blame, the self-deprecating stuff, the fat, the ugly, the old, the sick, the tired, the in pain. You don't allow people to live in their own BS. And neither do I on this podcast, nor in everyday life. I've got 4 daughters, and trust me, they come home with all sorts of stuff that they experienced in school. And, oh, this guy called me this name and that name. And I feel like I'm playing, ping pong against the best ping pong player in the planet. I'm like, oh, let me get rid of that. Oh, let me get rid of that. And we have to stay strong, not just for our family, not just for ourselves, but we have to be able to lift people out of that crap and bring
especially young girls. This is because young girls are, my son gave me a stat on the age of 18 to 24 the other day and about OnlyFans. He said, did you know, and I'm going to make this number up because I'm going to think I have the number right. 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 girls has an OnlyFans account at that age group.
In teenage?
Yeah, 18 to 24.
18 to 24. Oh my God.
So you think about that. Don't get me wrong. Everybody, I'm going to make some money. I don't have to work and blah, blah, blah. I don't care if it's feet or whatever they're doing. But once you jump into that realm, you're going further and further and further. And it speaks directly to a mom like yourself, who's all over these girls, to give them 0 chance of going that direction.
Right.
Because the boot up their ass is coming.
Yeah.
I raised you differently to believe in yourself. But it's very important for the one that you can say whatever you want as a parent, but until that young lady says, and my young son says, I deserve better. I deserve to be on this soccer field at the D1 college level. I deserve to have a shot playing in Europe. I deserve this. And I tell them every day, you have my last name, bro. You deserve it.
Mm.
I mean, we've raised you to believe in yourself. And I've given you cheat codes. I've taken your body back to this alignment and you've become the biggest, fastest, strongest. And then, of course, once you get to the D1 level, everybody's bigger, faster, stronger. So now there's a psychological shift of, holy cow, I'm no longer the man. I'm one of the men. Now I'm in competition even more. And if you haven't prepped yourself psychologically, it can start this nosedive process. So I applaud you for what you're doing with your kids, especially with all the stuff. I would just educate them. I just worked with a GM of an NFL team the other day, and his daughter's going to be playing D1 soccer. And I said to her, remember when you go to college, there will be things that are said about you, A, because you're coming from Southern California and you're going to be playing back east. You're already soft in the world's eyes, right? Prove them wrong. When you step on that field, you are no longer this, hi, Mr. Bradley. Hi, give me a hug. I'm smiles. When you get on that field, flip that switch.
Yeah.
You can still be cordial, respectful, but the minute you go to that touch and you're on the field, it's go mode. And that doesn't mean, gee, I hope people like me. It's like, I don't care. I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be disrespectful. And that's a mindset that I wake up every day. I'm going to go, okay, what are you going to do today? Oh, we're going to change a lot of people's lives today. Oh, Brian, it's like I'm talking to myself. Brian, what's your schedule look like? Oh, we have this. They have a podcast. Oh, great. There's an opportunity to hit 3.5 million people and help change their lives about their kids. Let me show you this picture real quick because we were talking about the lymph system. This is a before and after in 90 days of this young lady. Look at the physiological change in her lymph versus I'm just living pain-free.
She looks like a different person. And
100%, because now her sewage system is open. It's like filling up a bathtub, putting a hair clog down there, because I have sisters. I know what those things look like. Disgusting, by the way. Disgusting.
Don't come to my house.
Yeah, I'm a dude, right? So I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, clean it out. But if you just left it there, then the water starts to fill up. That's what this young lady was holding on to. And then the emotions start, and every thought becomes cellular, shuts down your diaphragmatic breathing. Your body starts to rotate to protect your heart. Your head starts to tilt, and then you walk into school looking like this. And it's like, wait a second. You can be free of that just by going, nope, it's not going to happen. I'm going to do these 3 exercises, put my skeleton back where it should be so the frame can put all of my internal systems where they should be.
You just showed a picture of a woman who looks like a different person just a few weeks after doing a couple of exercises. But the mental shift that she had either came before or after that, right? Or in congruence with it. Like you can't have one without the other. It's like having, peanut butter without jelly. It's like having an Oreo without cream in the middle, You have to constantly be making that shift. And I wish my grandfather was around to listen to this podcast episode, because you are like him, just a lot younger and in a different lifetime. He died at almost 98 years old. He was a pretty famous musician for most of his life. Never drank, never smoked, but ended up getting prostate cancer when in his 70s, maybe even in his 60s. And as many of you know, prostate cancer, most men, if you live past a certain age, you always get prostate cancer. But prostate cancer will eventually metastasize into your bones, and bone cancer is super painful. Now, this man played his last gig 3 weeks before he died at 98 years old. 3 weeks before he died. He had a broken neck. He had tons of pain. His fingers looked like lightning bolts. They were zigzagged. He had so much arthritis and pain. He had cancer in every cell of his body, and he probably shouldn't have lived that long. But every single day, this Sicilian man, Sebastiano Mure, Billy Muir, woke up, looked himself in the mirror, and said, today is going to be a great day. You look good, you feel good, and gosh darn it, Billy, you are going to make everybody happy that you come across today. He loved to entertain people. He loved to put a smile on people's faces, and he also loved to eat French fries off of everybody's plate in the restaurants that he was playing in.
I love it.
He lived to 98 after having cancer for 30 years. and really not doing much about it. He didn't do chemo, radiation, any of that kind of stuff. And he didn't really eat healthy. He ate like frosted mini wheats every morning and ate, baked potato with a bunch of cheese and stuff on it. But he loved life, and he refused to let the pain kill him. What ended up killing him was that he couldn't play guitar anymore. And so as soon as he couldn't play guitar and sing for people, as soon as he couldn't entertain people, he's like, all right, I'm out.
You saw that Ozzy Osbourne just had a farewell concert.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was amazing. Even if you don't like Ozzy, he's been an icon and he's been funny. The different things that he's done. Oh, God, he's funny, right? But he's, and back in the day when they're like, oh my God, he bit the head off a bat and all these different things. It's like, come on, seriously, all this that's like thinking Kiss is for real. Like, the stuff they did was not real. But we were enamored by it when we were younger. As you can tell, I'm a huge 80s rock fan. Okay, so that's what I do. Okay, if you're not listening to Journey, turn this podcast off. It's perfect. Oh, so it was the last concert for Black Sabbath. Okay, that's what it was. But he was amazing, sitting in a huge throne, singing that, and it sounded amazing. But you could feel the end coming. Like I was driving in my car going, my gosh, I never thought to myself that the world would be different without Ozzy Osbourne. But it will be. He's not going to surprise you with anything else like a new TV show and all these things that make you chuckle about the guy that has seen and heard everything.
Right.
So when I look at things like this, and if you're not, for those of you that are super young on this, and trust me when I tell you, if you're below 40, I consider you super young. I lost both my parents before COVID hit, like just before, thank God, because if they died during COVID, I'd have been one angry soldier. I look at this and things happen for a reason. When I walk into my office, my mom's funeral card, my dad's funeral card are right there hooked up to a TV. And it's the first thing I see when I walk in. I have a picture of my mom over here. I watched it last night doing the biocharger because the room was dark, red lights going off, and I can see her in the background. They were fun, but they had to pass on. And, you would hope, and you can hear it, that your grandfather is still vibrantly alive just the way you talk about him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and that's big in the Italian family. So I'm half Italian, half Irish. Do you remember these things? Hey, we're going to eat lunch. Okay. What time? Oh, it's 12. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Meatballs, this stromboli, whatever, gnocchi. And all of a sudden, oh God, I'm so full. Thank you, Grandma. Go outside to play. Kids, come on back in.
Time to eat again.
It's 3:30. Time for dinner. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I'm still bloated from earlier. You know what I mean? But to them, it was, let's bring everybody back to talk again, to hang out again. And that's why I'm so enamored by the country of Italy. And I pray for it all the time just because I know they're going through a lot of shit right now. But it's such an amazing place and amazing people because it's all about, can I give back? And yes, please come in. I applaud you about your grandfather because you'll never let that go. You're teaching that to your kids when they hear you talk about them. And that kind of stuff is going to be carried on to another generation, even though they may not have known him all that much, because of when he passed.
And he passed almost 12 years ago. So really my kids, my oldest is 14. So she doesn't really remember him outside of pictures. But what kids do remember is, and they don't, everybody says, oh, well, my kids don't listen to me. They'll listen to Brian Bradley telling them, what posture positions to do and how to heal their body. They'll listen to Tony Robbins about how to, help their unblock themselves and access a life that is on fire, that's unlimited, but they won't listen to me. Well, yes, they're always listening to you. This is the thing that most parents don't understand. What they're not hearing is authentic, vulnerable information and feedback. They're only hearing, well, I'm telling you what I want you to do, and you better do it. No, they're looking at what I'm doing. They're looking at, I'm an imperfect person, and I have a new relationship. I'm about to get married. It's really important that we don't pretend like everything is hunky-dory all the time. They need to see that relationships are beautiful and they're magical, and there's so much joy and love and peace that can come from that. But he's responsible for protecting and providing for me and providing a safe space for me and my daughters and for his daughter. And I'm responsible for being the mom and the wife and providing the love, the unconditional love. and the vulnerability and the openness. And most people just don't get that. And from a perspective like yours as a coach, as a speaker, as someone who I look to for guidance whenever I'm going through, a painful period, whether it's physically or emotionally, they're looking at us to do the same thing. They want us to guide them, to lead them. We have to be leaders in our own household. And so if we're not doing the stuff, we can't expect them to do it. So yes, my grandfather woke up every morning and talked to himself and psyched himself up and got ready for the day. He never said he was fat. He never, and he did the physical things too. He did eat a lot of like good fish, and he took some supplements and stuff like that. But, he was born in 1915. They didn't have all of this stuff. They didn't have the biocharger. They didn't have the power plate. They didn't have hydrogen water. They had coal mines and dirty water and not clean air. And, he lived in ghetto apartment in the Bronx and dropped out of school when he was 9 to play trumpet in a wedding band to help support his family.
Which is what made him such a badass.
Exactly. But the kids these days, they don't know that. They don't see that. They don't see the struggle. But our parents did. Right. And they're trying to beat us over the head. Like, you don't know my struggle. And so you have to do this and you have to do that. No, you've got to make the change in your life. You've got to shift the energy. You've got to break those old patterns of behavior. And so people who are working with you, who are inspired by you, it's a duality. You can't do one without the other. You can't just have a right arm. You've got to have a left arm too. Yep. You've got to do the work of the day and also keep your mental energetic upward spiral going every day.
What does your life look like if you talk to yourself like I do to myself or your grandfather did? What would your life be like then? Well, I don't really know. Okay, just take a guess. Remember, eyes closed. And then you see this. And the sides of their mouths go. And I'm like, that's, don't even say it. I already know the answer. You just saw something that you haven't envisioned in a long time. Well, I see myself walking around the lake and finally getting in and blah, blah, blah. I used to love doing that stuff. Then hold on to that thought. And now let's apply my company's protocol. But I need help. I need you to pay attention. When the negative thought comes in and you wake up in the morning, your whole body aches. Okay, what's my body trying to tell me is a different question than, why is God doing this to me? Like my mom had liver tubes coming out. One day I walked in and she's shirtless, right? So she's like 80 at the time. So picture your topless mother walking into a room as a son. And I walk in and I go, oh my God, seriously. I'm like, can we just have your shirt on when I walk in the room? Now, my mom and I are really close. I was joking with her. My sister's changing her bandages and she says, you did this to me. You're the only son. You're the only kid that breastfed. I said, I know. It's my fault. And she goes, if you don't like my 36 longs. Right? So there's her breast joke. That's my mother on her dying bed joking around like that. That's a mindset that I hope to carry on throughout my life, to be able to make a joke out of some self-deprecation. And you know what? Hey, Brian, I'll say this at these big events. 1.8 million people, 1.8 million people last January with Tony. And I'm up there going, well, things aren't where they used to be, folks. But guess what? And so it now is that it's that Chris Farley Tommy Boy when he's walking around in that Tommy Boy movie and goes, as you can see, I have a little bit of a weight problem. Everybody's thinking it. So when you own it and you bring it to the surface, control's an illusion, but you basically control it. Yeah. Or you're not allowing it to control your emotion. That is critical in the event process of even my therapists. When they say, yesterday I had a talk with one. I said, hey, how much is 8 visits with us? And she gave me the price. I said, hey, how does that feel to you? Her eyes go like this. I go, oh, I already know the answer. You're 25 years old. That's a lot of money. She's like, yes. And I go, until you change your mindset, because you believe it's a lot of money, you're portraying that back to your customer sitting in front of you. They feel it, and now they don't commit to themselves. Even though they're 50, they have $8.7 million in the bank.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you have to look at this. It's relative to what the person is receiving it, not the person who's teaching it. So I don't care if you made $1 a year. $10,000 is a lot of money to that person unless you say, not for the result you get. And that's not what it costs. I'm just giving you a fake number. But if you said, I get my life back. If I said to you at the age of 35, what are you willing to pay to have your life back? This wand, once I wave it over top of you, is going to give you this. Oh, I'll pay. Why? Because I want to get out of this. But if I just wave the wand, that doesn't mean that you're actually committed. The person who goes to the bookstore, a bookstore or Amazon, gets the book and reads it, then hits me up with questions, they're way more committed, in my opinion, than the billionaire. And literally, I have billionaire clients who have more money than they know what to do with, where they say, here's a check, get me out of pain. Now that's enticing because I'm going, wow, that new Porsche twin turbo would be nice in my garage. It's only $280,000, blah, blah, blah. It's worth about 160. Let's be honest. But I have two options in front of me. Do you want to work with this guy that's going to do this? Or do you want to work with this person who put in the effort? The success rate over here is probably 110%. You and I were talking about your future husband.
Yes.
Right? And he had we saw the change right there in front of him as we did some stuff. Where I failed him is I didn't spend enough time with him to let him see more value in it, to actually take 3 minutes of his day and do it.
Yeah, well, you didn't fail him. He was overwhelmed by everybody giving him. He's a FDNY lieutenant, and everybody loves the fireman. And he's he's cute, he's tall, he's got a million injuries. He's had
Oh, he's cute. He is cute. Good job, girl. Good job.
Thank you. But he's also wondering, like, well, what's the thing, right? And the thing for him has become mindset. It's all mindset. When he was relegated to a wheelchair for 6 months, he didn't say, woe is me, and I'm never going to get out of here. He did all the freaking work. He did the tough physical work, but he did the emotional work too. He took himself down to the VA to see people that were worse off than him.
Oh, yeah.
He could say, you know what? I'm getting myself out of here, and I'm also going to help inspire these guys too. He prays every morning. We pray with our kids every night. He meditates, writes in a journal. Like he's doing the things. It doesn't matter if like he goes into a fire and he comes down, he's got to go into the salt chamber. Okay, that's great. It doesn't matter if, he broke his back in November, he had to have surgery, but now he's got like all of these gadgets and stuff that people are sending him, all these supplements. We're taking blue scorpion venom and peptides and doing PEMF and red light therapy and sauna and detox and like all of these things. None of that's going to work. None of it's going to work if you're not thinking it's going to work, if you're not in the right mindset. You're absolutely right.
A great segue back to how we started, which was if your body's fighting you, you can do all of these things and expect 100% ROI. Your return on your investment is still, I can't wait to get so much. I'm in the sauna. Great. I'll be in the sauna tonight, 28 to 32 minutes. I'm sweating profusely. I'm wiping it off as I'm sweating, getting it off my body, saying goodbye to these byproducts, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for staying, but get out. All right. And then doing the cold plunge today, which I couldn't do because we're getting it fixed, but to me, it's a ritual that says this picture of my cold plunge. I know it freaks people out, but there's a reason why I chose that one.
Oh, baby, that's a lot of ice.
Because it makes its own ice. It ozones the water, and all that ice was one solid piece. And I had to cathartically hammer and break it and talk to myself going, this is going to suck. This is going to suck. This is going to suck. This is going to be amazing. Till I get that shift that says, no, a 4-inch thick piece of ice broken up into 1,000 pieces. No problem. Got it. And once you get in, it's not whether 55 degrees is better than 33 degrees, but 33 degrees and breaking up the ice is a psychological jump. So my brother-in-law came out for a week, and I put him in the cold plunge for the week, and he could stay a minute. And so, me, Mr. Trickster, I'm going, okay, here we go. Set an alarm for blah, blah, blah. And I punch it in and I cancel it. And okay, a minute. I'm like, here we go. And I show him and come on, you only have this many seconds left. And he ended up on the second, third days going 120, 130, 140 because he thought it was a minute.
Oh,
And I said, Kenny, I lied to you the entire time because I knew you were there. And from a military standpoint, I didn't want you ringing the bell.
right.
You think about SEAL training, Marine Corps training, Delta Force, all that stuff. You start thinking these guys will wash out psychologically, not physiologically. Like the SEALs will tell you, your mind will quit far before your body does. And that was a perfect example. He goes, okay, I'm done. I go, good. Just give me 10 more seconds. 8, 9, 10, 11, 19, 20, 22. He goes, okay, now I'm done. And he just picks himself up. I go, you quit 22 seconds ago, but yet you stayed.
Mm.
I go, you got out when you were truly done, not when you thought you were truly done. And he's like, wow, that's cold. And I said, no, I need you to hear what I said. And then when I got him out, I put him in the power pose, had his hands on his waist. And I said, now look straight ahead, look outside and just be thankful for the cold. He's like, yeah, I'm thankful for getting out of the cold. And I said, no, change the mindset. Thank yourself for the cold and now we're going to do, he's like, I'm building one of these when I go home. Yeah, you can take a 14 cubic square foot freezer, line it with pond sealer, all that stuff, and you can make your own cold plunge for $700. Goes down to 32 degrees.
Sure.
Now unplug it before you use it because you can't control the electronics in that stuff versus something like this that's grounded. And for those of you listening, I mean, I'm talking about a lot of things from the Carol bike to the biocharger to the power plate. I do a lot of work with power plate. Their home version, this is the Pro 7 in the gyms. Great, 16 grand, great. But I have the home version in my garage that I tell people, it is absolutely critical for you to get this. So stop buying BS birthday gifts. Stop buying BS Christmas, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving gifts for yourself. Tell people, I put a Blackstone grill in my backyard for my birthday last month because I told people, they said, what do you want? And I said, cash. What are you doing? I said, I already bought the grill. I just need to be paid back for it. So every time, and I told them, every time I make something on my Blackstone, I think of you guys that contributed. Now, do I need them to do that? No, but they're going to buy me, Brian, here's a new pickleball paddle. I'm sponsored. I don't need one. Don't buy me one. That's $300 I could put toward that. So if you think about where you waste money, crappy coffee during the day, $6 a cup. For what? Molded coffee that has no metabolic effect on you other than caffeine or sugar. I mean, the amount of obesity just coming out of that white and green coffee place that people go to, it's unbelievable. And we wonder why at 3:00 they're that big.
Well, I'm going to give you one more problem to wrap up our conversation because you're talking about things that people are already needing to do because they're either feeling pain or they want to, or they're listening to this podcast and they're like, yes, I can do this. I'm going to start. I'm going to buy the pain-free book by P.H.A.T. I'm going to, watch Brian Bradley's videos all over Instagram and DM him and tell him my story. And I'm going to sign up for Tony Robbins, business mastery or wealth mastery or whatever. I'm going to take action. But then they buy the book and then the book sits in the Amazon package on their floor for a week. And then they go, what's that package again? Oh, wait, I got to open that. Oh, right. It's that book, Pain-Free. And then they never read it. How do you get people to be proactive without making them feel pain? And I know Tony Robbins has like a really fun story of how he got that smoker to quit smoking by making him smoke like 8 packs of cigarettes in 30 minutes or something like that. But that was him inflicting pain on somebody to get them to take action. How do you get people to take action when we innately are lazy idiots? We don't want to take action.
Yeah, I would say that there's a book out there called The Effortless Experience. So for those of you in business, read a book called The Effortless Experience.
Okay.
Quit making my life harder if you want me as a client. Don't put another hoop I have to jump through to work with you. So that's why I tell people, find me on Instagram under the Brian Bradley, T-H-E. And it's only that because the Brian Bradley who plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning wouldn't sell me his Instagram. So I had to go and put the in front of it. I'm not that narcissistic. Okay. So my job is to wade through the maybes and the no's for you by asking better questions. Like if somebody saw that book and said, oh, it's over there, that's a responsibility that's coming. That's another effort. Oh, God, I don't have room for that. I have 4 girls and I'm getting married in a month and I have my stepdaughter too. I have all this stuff I'm juggling. This is your life, right?
Right.
You're juggling a lot of things. Now you're talking to me, the moron on podcast, when you could have been taking care of kids. Like there's all kinds of things going on. When a person says the Nike, just do it, and it's going to be helping me in the long run, that's not the easiest thing for people to do, but it's a decision that they need to make. And how you do that is by asking yourself certain questions. Why do I not feel the urge to read that book? Because like Brian's not really a book reader. I'll do 20 books a year. That's about it. But some people read a book a day. I'm not really that. I'd rather do this. I'd rather get together and talk and, hey, give me a hug when we're done, all that kind of stuff. That's me. Find the way that they learn. They have to understand how they learn, and then they have to implement and surround themselves by support that feeds that way that they learn. So for me, I'm giving you the option of creating a massive problem for me, which is I want to hear from you guys. Hit me up. We'll get on Zoom for 10 or 15 minutes. Let me take a look. I'll show you what the picture says, and then say, if you're going to do something from the book, start at chapter 2 and go. Or if you say, no, Brian, I want to work with you guys. What do you do? What do you have? Online programs, in-person programs. We have clinics, all that stuff. I'm not here to sell you on anything other than a belief that your body can do more, but it is an absolute shift in your mindset, which is ask yourself better questions. Am I the person I could be, your husband to be, a hardcore firefighter, big dude, good shape, but very vulnerable because I just had back surgery. My body could be failing me. What if I can't provide? Will my wife to be still love me? I know what goes through guys' heads. And I call them out on that shit. I'm like, how's it feel to lose your family? Because it's coming.
Wow.
But you have a choice not to let it come. That doesn't mean work harder. It means work smarter. It means take a day off. So today is my day off from pickleball, weightlifting, all that. Tomorrow I take some NFL guys. We're going to go over to the gym. We're going to go through a couple things. They're going to leave on Thursday or Friday and go, holy cow, I thought we were strong. Brian just crushed me. Well, because I'm getting you to isolate things by saying, put your body back into this alignment, then go to the gym so you get the build that you want or the strength that you want. Right. My job's to make the strength coach's job easier by teaching the client to better, here's how you fish versus being fed the fish. Look at us quoting the Bible. It's amazing. So you start thinking, ask a better question to them or stop. And you can literally say, I know that reading that book is another thing on your plate you don't have time for. All I'm asking is this. Instead of scrolling on your phone tonight, put the phone down for 30 minutes and just start at page 1 and read on. And I promise you 90 minutes later, you're going to go, I can't put the book down. That's what happens to people because they can't take that first step. Well, I'm here behind you just to push you, but it's got to be your idea or you're going to blame the failure on me.
Right.
When somebody comes in and says, oh God, Brian, I'm so glad I met you. You're so good at what you do. What do you think my answer is?
I know. No, I'm just kidding.
It's that.
Is it?
It's exactly, oh, I know.
I know.
And I wait for them. And it almost sounds cocky. It almost sounds like, I can't believe Brian just said that. And I go, whoa, don't talk yet. That was a comma, not a period. I know because I have to be this good because you're on the receiving end. I'm willing to give you a piece of me so that you can discover 1/10 of what my life is like and how blessed it is.
I really nailed you, huh? I mean, it's honestly, you have to be good because you have to believe that the people on the receiving end deserve it. They deserve to have the best. And and by telling them that, they will start to believe that they deserve the best and then they will take action.
And they're not used to hearing it. Remember the Goodwill Hunting thing?
Yeah.
Will, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Your dad gave you a choice, a belt, something, or a wrench. What'd you choose, Will? He goes, oh, I chose the wrench because that son of a bitch wasn't going to get the best of me. What? That's how he controlled it. When that's not how you should have been treated as a child. Like such a powerful movie. The Accountant, look, I'm a movie guy, right? The Accountant with Ben Affleck. One of the greatest movies of all time because of how the father said, autism is not going to make you who you are. I cannot wait for this 12 o'clock consult that I have today with that young man with a brain tumor and his mom that took over, because it's my job to congratulate the shit out of them because they've already made the mind shift together. And the kid's reaction is, I'm so much better. Well, now we're going to unlock the floodgates and are we going to get him back to zero? No, come on. He had a brain tumor. There's some changes that happen in the body. But scoliosis, brain tumors, knee ACL reconstructions, degenerative knee, those are all just gifts to teach you what your body's capable of. Now, you and I could talk for the next 3 hours about this, but we'll come back and do it again based on the feedback you get from your people, because we could go much deeper into this rabbit hole. But I want to tell your listeners, you get a hold of me. I have a way for you to experience the exercises that I give away at these different events, because I want them to physiologically feel what helps change the psychological and the emotional.
And once you feel it, there's no going back because you've experienced it. Just like you said at the start of this podcast. Well, Brian, you're a magical human. I love everything that you're doing. I love you. I'm so proud to be your friend and to be on the receiving end of all of the gifts that you've given to all of the people that you're working with. And I hope everybody takes him seriously, looks him up. He's the Brian Bradley on Instagram. And you have tons of stuff on YouTube. You've got tons of stuff everywhere. You're going to be, when this is released, you'll actually be at a Tony Robbins conference with thousands of people transforming their lives as well. And we're all just so grateful that you are here and that you've given us the gift of you being awesome.
I'm going to let you go by saying this. Thank you so much for all of those accolades. I know you feel them. My clients say stuff like that all the time because they feel so much better. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to hear it, but you should be patting yourself on the back. And they should be patting themselves on their own back for creating their own lives. I'm just a piece of it. And I was given the opportunity 35 years ago to learn this kind of stuff and mentored by people like a Tony Robbins, in the world. I'm having to work with these guys who truly make differences. And when you start to think about patting yourself on the back, that's that self-love. That's the idea of looking in the mirror going, I'm proud of you. And a lot of people can't do it. So I'm going to leave you with this. My sister, very close, my youngest one, she and I were talking one day, and she's in her mind, she'll go, yep, I'm the overweight sister. She calls me up and says, I want to lose weight. And I said, awesome. She goes, I need your help. I go, no, I'm not going to waste my time. And it doesn't mean that I don't love you. It just means that I don't think you're really serious. She goes, you're probably right. I just feel guilty of what I saw today. I made her. Now remember, I'm on the phone. I said, close the drapes in your bedroom, stand in front of a mirror with your bra and underwear on, and I will repeat after me. I approve. She starts crying. I said, what? Did the little devil on your left shoulder show up and say, no, you don't? She goes, yeah, exactly. I said, good. Wake up tomorrow and do it again. I approve. You're a liar. I approve. No, you don't. I approve. Really? 7 days into it. I approve. No voice. And she was like, it just went away. And I said, well, you called it out. You put the spotlight on it. You pulled the curtain back on Oz and showed that it wasn't real. And that was the moment that she was like, good, I'm going to go to that Tony Robbins event you told me about, and then she became her own version of helping other people, still overweight, but she doesn't apologize for it now. She just goes like this, my choice, get over it. Let's go. I'm the fat girl who can help you. And I applaud every minute of it. It's just how you view it.
Yeah.
Could she be healthier? Absolutely. When she's ready. So your listeners, when you're ready, I want to hear from you. When you're ready, if you have a kid, family member who needs some help, hit me up. I'll at least be able to drive you toward the book and stuff like that. You can do Zoom stuff. I mean, we'll help you out in any way.
I love it. I'm patting myself on the back for anyone who can't see me. Thank you, Lindsay, for having Brian Bradley on the show today.
100%.
And for sharing biohacking truths and no BS, because it's vitally important that we stop BSing ourselves and start validating ourselves because we are worthy for sure.
That's exactly right. It's oh my God, I just finished my cold plunge just in time. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Get back in there.
Okay. Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining this week's episode of Optimize We. We loved having you along for the ride. Now, if you want to dive deeper into our guests' insights, be sure to follow them on their socials because trust us, it's worth it. And don't forget to connect with us either. We're at wellnesseternal_. Stay updated, join the conversation, and be a part of the growing community. Until next time, stay inspired, stay optimizing, and we'll catch you in the next episode.